You got new music this week.
I like the music.
Right? It's
Yeah,
fun. Our director's finding all kinds of fun stuff we can listen to. And we got all kinds of fun stuff to read now, too. You got a new book out.
I do.
This is Rachel Prinz, the author of Hacking the Earthship book. And this is, I think a lot of us have seen the Earthships, or we know a little bit about them. But I kind of think of them as the houses that are made of completely recycled everything. And the walls are made of tires, the glass is recovered from something else. Everything is completely recycled, and they're also super efficient, right?
In principle, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you come to finding and getting all excited about Earthships?
I have an architectural research and development practice in Taos and now here in Albuquerque. And I do mostly historic preservation, but I do a lot of design also. And every time somebody would come into town, they would want to go see the Earthships because they're so famous.
And they're weird.
And they're weird, and they're cool, and they're really beautiful. I mean,
Right.
so many amazing details. They originally started in Taos, but now people want to take them around the world. Mm-hmm. Well, buildings that work in Taos don't work in New Orleans,
right.
or LA or South Carolina or
Right.
Europe.
Right.
So what do you do? How do you change it so that it works for you? And
You can take the principles, though.
Exactly. Take the principles, but then tweak it.
Because Adobe wouldn't necessarily work in New Orleans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wash right away.
It would wash right away. And so how you tweak it is sort of a nuanced thing, and I wanted to offer some suggestions for things that people could do, because I deal mostly with bioclimatic design.
Okay.
So I design for a place.
I have no idea what bioclimatic design
I design
means.
for a place, right? So,
Okay.
So if you say to me, I have a place in Costa Rica, which just happened, then I have to acclimate to everything.
The struggles of designing a home for Costa Rica. Oh.
It's so hard. So how do you do that? And so I have to go in and I sort of dive into everything about that culture, their traditions, how they build, what their climate is, and then we adapt everything accordingly.
Cool.
And so, yeah.
So how'd you end up turning the Earthships, the famous Earthships, into a book? And why'd you want to even write a book?
Oh, I love the Earthships. They're really cool.
They are.
I love anything that's made out of earth. But there's a lot more concrete in them than there is earth. Mm-hmm. In the actual building itself.
Yeah, they're
in the
made of
berm,
concrete
there's a lot
forms,
of
and
earth.
something has to support the roof.
Something has to support everything. But I wanted to see, because my heart is in New Mexico, and I know about our 1,000-year history here of building with earth, with actual earth. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see if we could tweak the design to make it more authentic to this place. Mm-hmm. And so it started there, and then I got an intern from Italy who said, well, I know you want to solve these problems, and I'm really interested in doing earth bags and rammed earth. Mm. And so she came in and she researched that, and then she called in all these experts. And then when people found out what we were doing, they all said, well, I know about cob, or I know about straw bale, or whatever. And so it started, in fact, it's only 2 chapters out of 11 that are about the Earthship now. And now it's about adding on all of the other layers so that people can design their own home, whether it's natural or traditional Earthship.
Very cool. What does traditional Earthship mean? I mean, is there a traditional Earthship design?
There is a traditional Earthship. They were originally designed in the 1970s by Michael Reynolds.
So they're almost getting to the age where they could be on the
historic register. They could be on the historic register,
and
probably there are a few that should be, because they're really distinct. And
and there's a couple that are really famous, like this one right here.
That's the Phoenix.
And that's a really famous
Super
Earthship.
Famous.
Yeah.
Super famous. And it's on sale for $1.5 million.
Wow. Wow.
It's amazing. Everything in it is handcrafted. That's also the Phoenix. It has 2,700 square foot of garden inside the building.
Wow.
And 3 bedrooms. It's really amazing. It's also really big, and maybe people don't need 5,000 square feet.
I could totally find something to do with 5,000 square feet. Turn me
also.
loose with 5,000 square feet. I'd make the pool table room. I do, I do all kinds of stuff there. But that was one of the first big ones that really got international acclaim. And how did these things, do you know how these things started and how they really got?
I think Mike Reynolds really understood that in the 1970s, nothing was happening with waste tires. Mm-hmm. Nothing was happening with cans.
And that was when we were first starting to realize these kinds of things could be a landfill problem going forward.
Exactly. And he wanted to solve that problem. And he did. He did. You use about 10,000 cans in an Earthship. You use 900 tires. And you can
see some tires sticking out of the adobe on this one.
And you use about 2,000 wine bottles or glass bottles.
Yes.
And I love that. That's one of my favorite little details. That's actually, I'll admit that's a cheat wall. That's actually from Tinkertown. That's right outside Albuquerque. But they also use the principle, and that's actually in their new teaching facility at Earthship at Greater World.
And they use just materials from anywhere that they can find.
Yes. I mean, some of the things that make them so beautiful are they'll go to the landfill and they'll pull off the fronts of old washers and refrigerators and things like that. And so, like, this is a great example. All of those colors, they come from some piece of salvaged metal that they found.
Oh.
So everything about them, except for the concrete and the wood, is recycled, or I should say salvaged.
Yeah, and these things are actually homes. People actually live in them. People actually have businesses in them.
They have businesses and they grow food and all different kinds of stuff.
And they're generally, I think of them as that area kind of north of Taos, like near Rosseco and that high prairie up there.
And out towards the Gorge Bridge, they have a big visitor center out there.
Right. And is there like a community of Earthship people now? Is that
yes.
and how many are there?
Lots.
Like more than 100?
Within that group, there's hundreds. And then, but the beautiful thing is, the exciting thing for me, is that now there are groups doing them in Europe, in Russia, in Canada, in Mexico. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Do you live in an Earthship? Earthship-y kind of, have you taken some of those principles and put them in your own house yet?
Yes, actually, I do. And I really love, my favorite is the glass bottle walls. I just think they're so beautiful. I love a lot of the details, and I want to build a house that's Earthsheltered, because I learned, actually from writing the book, I learned so much about the benefits of Earthsheltering, especially in a place like New Mexico, which, I mean, if you look around, it makes absolute sense, because we have Mesa Verde, we have Bandelier, all these places where they've been building in the earth for years and years.
It's kind of like figured out over 1,000 years that these things work.
Lo and behold, they actually knew what they were doing all along. So.
Yeah. Well, with this book now, what are you hoping to kind of accomplish? What are you hoping to get the word out about with the book? Is it there's ways you can bring the Earthship ideas to any community?
Yes, that's really the goal. And I actually my dream's already been met.
Oh, how so?
Because the book came out on Wednesday, and by Wednesday night, there was a group in Europe that I actually refer to several times in the book who is doing this really very cool modern adaptation of them. And they reached out to me, and we started talking, and it looks like, I'm not for sure that this is going to happen, but it looks like we're going to issue another edition by the end of the year.
Hacking 2?
Maybe. And there will be an American edition, and there will be a European edition.
Oh, good. So what's some of the difference between what they're doing here and what is happening in Europe?
Well, in Europe, they recycle everything. So they're at 98% for tires. So they don't want to use tires. And there are issues with the tires because there's some concern for off-gassing. We don't know if that's actually a problem or not. Yeah. It's kind of like lead-based paint and asbestos. You don't really know, and maybe until it's too late. So, but the European groups, and in some places in Europe, it's actually illegal to use tires. So they're using earth bags instead.
And I have no idea what an earth bag is.
An earth bag it's probably one of the coolest building materials ever because it requires so little effort. It's kind of like adobe, only it's you stuff instead of making it in a wooden form, you stuff it in a bag with a little bit of lime or cement, and you twist the bag really tight, and it makes like an adobe, but it's enclosed.
Oh, like a solid brick in a bag.
Exactly.
That's
a
pretty
brick
cool.
In a bag. That's exactly what it is.
I dig that.
Only a little longer.
A little longer, and they're strong. They can support a house.
Super strong.
Just like adobe bricks.
Just like adobe.
That's pretty cool. That's
it's pretty cool.
So with this book, where can we find it?
It'll be everywhere. We're having it's already on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and it's getting updated onto new sites every day. And we're having a book signing at Bookworks on May 27th.
Very cool. Well, we'll go check it out. And if anybody wants to go for just a fun day trip and a drive, go to Taos and drive around.
So much fun. They have a great tour, and it's a very cool place.
Excellent. We'll be back in a couple of seconds. We're going to talk food with our buddies Steve and Justin on the Morning Brew with Friends.